I've had bipolar disorder for quite some time now, and I can't really pinpoint the exact time it manifested itself into my life, but I do remember a few instances here and there where I was experiencing symptoms of mental illness that I didn't really quite understand. And for the most part, I've always been able to work through it. It's never really been anything that has gotten in the way of my life, and so I never saw it as an issue. However, it wasn't until maybe a couple of years ago where I was experiencing symptoms that were becoming more severe. And to be honest with you guys, it was completely unexpected. It totally caught me by surprise. And I feel like when you are going through something like this for the first time in your life, you kind of just get caught up in the chaos of things and you go through the motions of what you're feeling unnoticed. And so I thought that maybe it had to do with the stress of change I was going through. I had just made a really big transition from Boston to Seattle. And so the first year here, I really struggled with making friends. I really struggled with building a new life for myself. I had no sense of direction and I felt lost. And so after maybe a couple of months, I started making friends. I felt like things were slowly starting to turn around. The weather was changing and everything just felt like it was just falling into place. And then out of nowhere, I was just experiencing symptoms of low energy. I didn't have the motivation or inspiration or strength to just do day-to-day activities, and I couldn't get myself up to go to the gym. Finding the strength to brush my teeth was hard, and getting out of bed was such a huge struggle. My life felt like a series of high highs and low lows, and you know, when I was going through my lows, I had good days and bad days. On good days, I had ways where I was able to work through it, but on the bad days, man, like getting myself out of bed was literally the accomplishment of the day. I just felt so weighed down by what I was feeling, and I felt a lot of shame about what I was going through. And it really just felt like all of my senses of control have been compromised. Felt like I had no purpose in life. I saw everything as meaningless, and I wanted to reach out to my friends, but at the same time, I was also concerned about being a burden to them. I didn't want to project all of the negative energy I was harnessing internally onto them. I was afraid that it would scare them away, and I thought that nobody wanted to be around someone who was just negative all the time. I was so deep and so lost in my pain to the point where I would question my own life. You know, when you're going through something like this, you really just don't know how long it's gonna last. Then there was this other half of me that was telling me that, you know, these thoughts aren't true, that I am loved and that I am worth something. I couldn't bring myself to understand why I was feeling depressed, because I felt like everything in my life was just going so well. And it felt like I was just in a constant battle of tug and pull with myself, and for a long time I was suffering in silence and was in denial and didn't even know I was in denial, because the fear and stigma of being labeled with a mental illness is just so real. I didn't really know how to feel about what I was experiencing, and so thankfully, with the love and support of Jonathan, he calmed me down and reassured me that everything that I was going through and everything that I was feeling was nothing to be ashamed about. And I think that is really important to consider and to remember. He had encouraged me to seek professional help. I didn't know at the time, but looking back in hindsight, I realize now how much of a crucial moment that was for me, and it will definitely be something that I will never forget. Although it did take me a while, I eventually did get help. I found out I was diagnosed with bipolar disorder, depression and anxiety, and both depression and anxiety can be a topic to discuss in another video if you guys would like. Anyway, I felt a range of emotions in response to the diagnosis. I felt a little bit of shame. I felt a little bit of anger and frustration. I thought, you know, what would people think of me? What if people at work finds out? They're gonna want to fire me. They're gonna think I'm crazy, they're just gonna label me as crazy. But at the same time, I also felt a sense of relief because I was finally able to put a name to the problem that I was experiencing for so long. And so fast forward to 1 year later, here I am talking to you guys about it today. And the reason being is because I wanted to address why I haven't been present and why I haven't been uploading on YouTube. And that's because I've been going through my lows again. I am still learning more on how to treat and manage my mental health and struggles. Of course, I still face challenges here and there in supporting my own recovery. I have found ways that serve as emotional outlets to help me get through the not so easy times. If I can, I try and get myself up to go to the gym. If that doesn't work, I go for walks. And if that doesn't work, I just allow myself to have lazy days in the park and just listen to music. Cleaning my room has also been a form of therapy. I've also picked up journaling, a little bit of meditation, and I am still learning to reach out to others when I am in need of talking about my problems. Right now, at this very moment in my life, I feel like I'm in a really good place with where I am along my wellness journey, mental health being a huge component of it. Although the idea of living in a constant state of happiness sounds nice, I know for sure that that is unrealistic and will never be the case, because who wouldn't like that? You know what I mean? I've discovered that that's just not really how life works. I do know that in the future, I will definitely encounter tough moments ahead, especially with my mental health. And when the time does come, I will cope with it in ways that I know how. And even though there will be instances where I am able to work through the tough moments, a lot of times it will just be about powering it through. The thing with mental illness is that it's an invisible disease. You can't see it, but you can definitely feel it. It does not discriminate. It does not care what your gender is. It does not care what your race is. It does not care what your age is. It doesn't care where you are from, and it definitely does not care about how much money you have in your bank account. It is actually an illness and not an identity. In a way, I am grateful, very grateful, to have had moments of adversity like this, because it has taught me a lot on how to be compassionate towards others. It has taught me a lot about empathy. It has taught me how to love myself, and it has taught me how to be kind to myself and to the world around me. Perhaps you are someone who is struggling with mental health. Perhaps you have struggled with it in the past. Perhaps you maybe have a friend who is struggling with it. Maybe you have a family member or a distant family member who is struggling with mental health. Know for sure that avoiding it, resisting it, and running away from it and trying to control it definitely does not help. It actually makes things worse, and trust me, I've had to learn this the hard way. What I've learned is that support is key to healing and recovery. Surrounding yourself with positive people and prioritizing physical and emotional support is honestly one of the best things that you can do for yourself. Outlets like this, such as this one where I am able to talk to you guys about my struggles, it feels liberating. It feels like I am contributing to something of a greater cause. Definitely know that if this is something that you're going through, there are also other people out there who are able to relate, and we got each other's backs, and it's our struggles that we all relate to, and it's the compassion that we have for each other that keeps us pushing. I've come to learn that living a happier life is all about growth and through finding meaning. I like to believe that humanity is all about indulging in the positive emotions and embracing ourselves through the tough moments for profound change and transformation. Time and time again, I've seen that strengths really do reveal themselves through the darkest moments of our lives. It is actually what has inspired me to make this video for you guys today. Once you are able to truly come to terms with this reality, you will find that this beauty in life is what will keep you moving forward. Before I close out today's video, I just quickly wanted to say that this was not easy for me to open up about. It is not easy for me to share, and I've actually done many takes on this. It's probably the 10th take that I've done so far, and one of my greater fears in life is fear of judgment and shame, and so I ask that you guys please be kind in the comments. If there is anything that I hope you take away from this video, it is this. Just know that the world can be a beautiful place if you are lucky enough to see it that way. Thank you so much. I really appreciate you guys watching.